Pregnancy Resource Center. I know that my church here in D.C., we support it financially, we support it with volunteers, and these groups are doing amazing work. I believe, and I talk about this in my book, I think calendar year would be 2022, that $358 million in just material goods was donated to these pregnancy resource centers. And actually 16 million visits were registered. And so again, the accusation is often that pro-lifers are really only pro-birth. And if you know anything, again, about the heroic work of these pregnancy resource centers, you know that's not true.
How can Christians get involved in fighting for life? And also, I'm thinking both in when it comes to public policy, but also about meeting the needs of women in need in their communities. What would be your advice for the everyday church member about how they can fight for life?
Yeah, I'll answer the second question first, Harrison. So there are over, I want to say, I think it's like 3,500 groups that provide resources for women facing a pregnancy situation. Your church should support the local pregnancy resource center. I know that my church here in D.C., we support it financially, we support it with volunteers, and these groups are doing amazing work. I believe, and I talk about this in my book, I think calendar year would be 2022, that $358 million in just material goods was donated to these pregnancy resource centers. And actually 16 million visits were registered. And so again, the accusation is often that pro-lifers are really only pro-birth. And if you know anything, again, about the heroic work of these pregnancy resource centers, you know that's not true. Again, it's hundreds of millions of dollars worth of baby clothes and diapers and car seats and strollers. But just make sure that your church, as well as you individually, are just a part of that frontline work serving women in need. And as far as what you can do in the public square on these issues, definitely be educated. I know Family Research Council, we put out alerts on almost a weekly basis on what's happening in our nation's capital on these issues. But again, at the state level, Harrison, I once talked to a state legislator in Missouri, actually, and I asked the legislator, how many times does it take for you when you get a call or an email from a constituent on an issue, like about how many people need to reach out to you until your office responds? And they said, at least in this office, it was 8 people. If they get 8 people that reach out to them on a particular issue or a bill or something, they will kind of put their heads together as a team and how should we be thinking about this issue? So I think often people think, call my congressman or call my state rep or send an email. That doesn't really matter. It does. Again, I have friends who work on Capitol Hill that keep track of every email and every call that their office gets. And so I think it is important for you as a citizen to make sure that your elected representatives know where you stand on these issues, in particular when these issues are making their way through, if a bill's making its way through committee or something. And so just, again, stay educated, follow the news, follow these issues. And again, I think your church should be a good place. Again, encourage your pastor. Again, so many pastors tell me that they don't wade into these issues because they don't want to be perceived as political. And of course, I'm not someone who thinks a pastor should be preaching political sermons. Yeah. But where the Bible and biblical principles intersect with some of these public policy issues, such as the issue we've been discussing, there is a "Thus saith the Lord." There's a chapter and verse we can go to. And I think pastors should be informing the moral imagination and the moral framework of their people